There's a multi-generational transmission process that these patterns persist from one generation to the next. When there are small differences in the level of differentiation between parents, like you guys were just saying, I don't want to be like my parents. And when we're actually able to pull that off and do something, not in reaction, but do something that's completely original to us, then it leads to a large difference over generations of differentiation. This emotional process is transmitted through relationships, through behavior, and through communication. And it's all unconscious. Parents are not consciously teaching how to be differentiated or how to be merged. They're just doing their life. But with everything that they do, they're teaching. And so the kids learn from watching millions of interactions. Human beings have one of the longest dependency period of any mammal. So parents are actively shaping the development of their children for a really long time, decades. And the kids react to their parents' moods, their attitudes, their actions, what they reinforce. So the children are going to be similar level of differentiation to the parents, but not the same. Usually at least one member of a sibling group will develop a little more self, which is what we call the core healthy self, the differentiated self. And another member of the sibling group would develop a little less self than the parents, or at least the other sibling. And there's a phenomenon of borrowing and lending self. It's similar to the concept of over and under functioning. Sometimes we lend ourselves to others. Sometimes parents, they brag about their kids, and it's kind of a borrowing of self from the children. Sometimes we borrow self from celebrity worship. One of the charges, I think, about celebrity following is that we sort of fancy ourselves to be like this person that we're adoring, when in reality, just looking at somebody's picture or watching somebody's reality show really doesn't make us have anything that they have. Another way borrowing self can happen is, it's not always necessarily bad, asking somebody to go with you because you're afraid. Under reasonable circumstances, it can be helpful and healthy. But when it happens when one person is always taking somebody to the doctor and doing their shopping and answering the phone because they don't like answering the phone, it's like eventually that gets really toxic. In the next generation of children, or even adult children or former children, the level of differentiation determines how people interact with others. And we select mates that have similar levels of differentiation to what we have. And each child of these mates will have degrees of higher and lower differentiation. The child was the most differentiated child of the previous generation, and they marry someone with similar differentiation. Those kids are going to have higher differentiation than the original family of origin. And it can go to the other end too. They might be lower. So over time, the most differentiated child of the most differentiated sibling parent results in a family that has really marked difference in differentiation over time. For example, if a family programs somebody to attach really intensely to others and function in a helpless and indecisive way, that person will likely select a mate who attaches to him with equal intensity. And these roles of over and under functioning and dependency and resulting diminishment of self are going to play out. And the children of this couple are going to see this pattern and do the same thing.